Now, South Africans and businesses alike are battling to cope with the indefinite stage 6 power cuts. Many end up having to throw away food. So how are NGOs that feed children and have to store food in bulk coping? Linda Mnisi is tracking this story for us and joins us now. Linda, thank you for making time this afternoon. So how are these organizations coping with these levels of load shedding?
Well, at this point, Clement, there is really not a lot of solutions for them or things that they can work around in terms of dealing with load shedding. I mean, I want to show you, I'm at one of the foundations here in Pimville in Soweto who are also battling with the issue of load shedding. In fact, it's called the Kasi Hero Foundation. And you'll remember many of them often receive food in donations and in bulk, and they have to store all of that food to make sure that it's still in good condition when they serve it to the needy, the children that come to these centers in many, many communities in South Africa. I'll ask my colleague Morena to just show you. This is their kitchen. They've already started with alternatives. You see there a gas cylinder that helps with the cooking and making sure that work continues. But what happens when the food gets destroyed and when they have to throw away food? I'm joined now by one of the members of this foundation, Ndibuwa. Ndibuwa, thank you so much for your time. I want us to talk about the issue of load shedding and how it affects your work. You are in a very critical space helping communities and children, most importantly, who need these resources.
Oh, thank you, Linda, for your time. The load shedding, it's affecting us in the high note because the number of the kids now, it's increased. And when the number is increased, we don't have enough food. As you can see, day before, we just threw the full pot of rice, which it was destroyed because of the issue of the load shedding. The fridge now, I think yesterday my leader called me, I just switched off the fridge because there's nothing that we can keep because we don't have nothing. We rely on the donors. And the donors, they just come once and go. And as so far, the number has increased now because of the load shedding. Kids, they don't have enough food in their homes. They come here to receive the meal Monday to Saturday. As now, the number is increased to 300, which we don't have enough for them. So that's how the load shedding is affecting us.
Talk to us about, the number of food items that you've had to throw away in the past couple of weeks. You're telling me about an incident last week where you had to throw away a full pot of rice.
It was a rice. It was a pumpkin. It was a cabbage. That was the food that we just threw away last week.
On a weekly basis? Is that what happens on a weekly basis?
It happened on the weekly basis. It happened on the weekly basis as we serve Monday to Saturday. So each and every day it got its own challenges. So we know that we're going to just receive, no, my leader, all the food are destroyed. We just throw them in the dustbin.
And what does that mean for children?
It's affecting the children because, as you can see, we are in the informal settlement, which kids, they rely on our food. So it seems they spend the whole day without having anything in our stomach. So it's affecting them. You can see, if you can look that side, they are busy playing on the street because there's nothing that they can do in the house. The only things that keep them is the soup kitchen.
And in terms of capacity, you speak about how children during load shedding, they come to your center because even with those that have food at home, there's load shedding, some parents can't cook. So ultimately, they all land up here. Do you need more capacity to help provide for those children, the 300 that you speak about?
Yes, we do, because on Monday we serve 130. Then on Tuesday the number goes up. It was roughly 190. Then yesterday it was roughly to 290. So we need the capacity. We need the food source because now everyone in the community, they're just looking at us that Kasi Hero, you will provide for us. But they don't know that the Kasi Heroes, they are facing their challenges because we don't have sponsors. we rely on the donors. And remember, donors just come today, tomorrow. But we need a consistent sponsor that can, if there's such challenges, we know that we're going to just call Lord. All the food are destroyed. But now we are like a headless chicken. Now we don't know the way forward. Now we don't know what we can do. So we need more assistance. We need more assistance. We need a lot of food.
Okay. Thank you so much. That's Ndibo Lapadzi there from the Kasi Hero Foundation, Clement, talking to us about the kind of challenges that they face, having to throw away food because, of course, there isn't load shedding. So the storage facility also is a big challenge in terms of capacity. They say when there's load shedding, even with families that have food, obviously because they can't cook, they then send their children here. But what happens when the food is now messed up and they have to throw away the food? It means the children go back to their homes without having eaten. Clement?
Yeah, and just how extensive this impact of load shedding is. Linda Mnisi, thank you for that update.